One more news item I came across that I thought was worth some time is the news coming out of Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is taking the blame for a lack of production from the Kansas City passing game. He says, if I start playing better, everybody will start playing better. Remember, Kansas City Chiefs outlast the New York Jets 23-20 on Sunday night. Offense, not a memorable night. Mahomes throws 2 interceptions, almost throws 3. Mahomes continues. I missed some opportunities throughout the game, and so I've just got to put us in better positions and start making better decisions so that the guys can go out there and work for me and make plays down the field. That's what a good quarterback does. He's the leader. He's the face of the franchise. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. I appreciate you, Patrick. I'm not necessarily buying it. I think when you have 2 MVPs on the mantle, you don't have to deflect blame, but we don't have to put it on you either. I do think this is an interesting story, especially since it's the second straight year we're asking about the Kansas City Chiefs finding production in their passing game. For starters, let's everybody not panic. This is the Kansas City Chiefs we're talking about. If anybody deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's them. They're 3rd in the league in total offense, just for some perspective, for all the hand wringing that might be happening because the big plays aren't as regular as we're used to. They're 21 yards behind their pace from last season, which led the league. So they're 2 first downs away from being back where they were last year. I think they're going to be fine. Remember, at this point in the season last year, they had just lost to the Indianapolis Colts 20-17. They were 5-2 at their bye week. So not having it all figured out in the first 6 weeks of the season is really not an indictment when you've already proven that you can figure these things out and go on and win a Super Bowl. So we're not going to panic, but I do think it is an interesting conversation that the Chiefs are definitely struggling to find production alongside Travis Kelce. I think that's the issue. Travis Kelce, obviously the face of this passing attack since Tyreek Hill left. And we know that it can be done because Tyreek Hill left last year. That was the whole thing that led to people writing the Chiefs off, was that Tyreek Hill is off to Miami. Can they do it? Of course they can do it. But I do think the Chiefs had more options around Kelce last season. Say what you will about Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm not calling the guy a superstar, but he made a difference on this offense. He had 19 catches at this point in the season last year, which would be far and away better than anybody on this team right now. Travis Kelce leads the Chiefs in receptions with 17, and he missed a game. So despite being gone for an extra week, he's the only guy that's finding volume production. Another guy that was here last year, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, never been a volume guy, but has been a deep play guy throughout his NFL career. That looked like it was going to be the case through the first few weeks of the season. 2 catches for 50 yards in the season opener, a catch for 37 yards against Chicago, but really stop-start. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that MVS would have 6 catches through the first month of the season, even if he's not a volume guy. And again, that's just part of the larger problem. I think the Chiefs expected Kadarius Toney to really step up and be that guy who could complement Kelce. That's why they traded a 3rd-round pick for him last year. Hasn't happened. We know he had the disaster game in the season opener against Detroit. Not writing his season off yet, but the consistent production just hasn't really materialized. The number 2 receiver in the Chiefs offense right now is rookie Rashee Rice, and the number 3 option in their offense in terms of catches with 10, Isaiah Pacheco. If you're new to football or if you're not following me, he's a running back. When you're talking about the downfield passing game, if your running back is 3rd on your team in catches, doesn't say great things for what's happening down the field. Sky Moore is another guy. Chiefs used a 2nd-round pick on him a year ago. Had a nice game in Jacksonville. But the point is we're not seeing the consistency. We're not seeing a guy that has stepped up every week to take pressure off of Travis Kelce. If you didn't see it in the news, Aaron Rodgers famously, I think he called Travis Mr. Pfizer. Not going to get into that, but good defenses have been capable of limiting Kelce. He had 26 yards and a touchdown against the Jags, had 60 yards on Sunday night against the Jets. It is possible to keep him from taking over a game if you put all of your resources on it. And the Chiefs just haven't found the guy who can step up and take pressure off. They're moving the ball plenty well. And getting to the red zone 16 times in 4 games is perfectly good. Nothing wrong with that. The problem is they're just not cashing in on it. I looked this up, actually. I think we all agree at this point, the Chicago Bears, who play tonight, to this point in the season, the definition of hopeless, of hapless. They went 5 of 5 in the red zone against that team at home. In their other 3 games, they're 4 of 11. Therein lies the problem. I think that's why your scoring offense is down. Somebody needs to step up and help Travis Kelce and help Patrick Mahomes be a reliable option other than just that. Maybe it's Rice. Maybe it's Rashee Rice, the rookie. Hasn't had a breakout game to this point, but he's second on the team in production, in catches. He's been targeted 6 times in the red zone, which I think is interesting. Maybe that doesn't sound like a huge number, but it puts him among the league leaders. I find it fascinating that besides Kelce, he's probably the guy that the Chiefs trust the most to target down there where the field shrinks and where the plays are so much more important. I've dedicated a few minutes to this. I want to stress again, I'm really not worried about the Chiefs. It's a long season. We know they're going to be fine in the end because they've got 5 years of history that suggests it. We've got a year of history that suggests they don't need Tyreek Hill either. But even a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster, you see the dividends of having a guy you can count on. Maybe they can get MVS going again. The big play threat to replace Tyreek Hill, even in a smaller manner. Maybe Rashee Rice continues to develop. Maybe Kadarius Toney bounces back from this early season slump. But I do think it has to be somebody. Otherwise, it could be tough sledding for the Chiefs. And you know what? I think enough of Patrick Mahomes that they'll win a lot of games regardless. But you don't want it to be that difficult for your quarterback, even if he's the best in the world. Somebody not named Kelce is going to need to be a more consistent option in this offense. And that's not Patrick Mahomes' fault.